What? Tell me.
I've got lots of white friends.
Yeah. Is that a racist statement or is that a judgmental?
I've got a lot of black friends.
Yeah, yeah.
My most closest friends are Latino.
Yeah, that too. The greatest one is thinking
I watch anime.
Well, the greatest one is thinking that our truck, because it's a food truck, is a taco truck. Stop being a racist.
Coming to you from 125 Carver in Waco, Texas, it's the Riverside Weekly. We hope your time with us today is thought-provoking, spiritually challenging, and a life-changing experience. Our discussions are fun, real, and at times very uncomfortable. We highly encourage all of our guests and listeners to like and subscribe, and please ring the bell. Now, here are your hosts, Pastor Cello and Pastor Mia.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the podcast.
Yo,
it's
what's up?
Wednesday.
How y'all doing? It is Wednesday.
Welcome back. I'm so glad that you guys continue to join us on a weekly basis. We never know who's joining and who's cutting off and who's leaving us because we're too lame-o. Okay, I always think that now because of karaoke at Rosanna's house, you know. When we did our small group of karaoke, all I hear is, in the shape of a nail on her forehead. You know, so, anyway. Oh, this way. Oh, my bad. Okay. Anyway, that was horse. Okay.
Alrighty then.
And we're back. Anyway, welcome. I'm so glad you guys came back. Don't be judging. I know that's what I'm saying because I feel like people are judging me because my shirt is wrinkled, a.k.a. my grandmother and my mother. Why didn't she iron her shirt? But I didn't. Anyway, just want to say...
Well, when you're my size, everything fits you tight so it looks ironed.
And you have on that shirt that I always feel like is not bleached white enough, even though it is a vanilla shirt. Drives me nuts.
Yeah, that's a couple episodes back. But,
yeah. Anyway, welcome. And I do want to talk about being judged today because I'm feeling judged.
Not wearing a white shirt.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be.
You're feeling judged as well?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm feeling judged as well.
I'll have you can take it up with the person who does my laundry.
Oh, that would be me. Anyway, but I don't purchase your clothing.
True.
You purchase your own clothing. I just do the laundry. Excuse me. At least I try to. All right. Anyway, welcome back, everybody. I do want to talk about judging. I think I've said that for my third opening, not my third closing, because I feel like sometimes I feel like a nut, sometimes I don't.
Sometimes I feel like I'm judged. Sometimes I don't.
There you go. I only say that because, not because of my shirt being wrinkled and feeling like, you know, somebody is judging me. You're always judging me because I believe in science. I don't believe in science. I do believe that, you know, Jesus brought us here and that we weren't, poof, you know, Big Bang Theory type thing. But I do want to say that I am talking about judging because I feel like a lot of people do judgmental things without thinking about it. Is that what I'm trying to say?
I don't know, but I understand what you're saying.
Okay, well, tell me what I'm trying to say. Since you like to dissect everything I say, oh, wise and noble
I don't know about wise,
one.
but I people say things that sound judgmental or come across as judgmental, but they're not really judgmental.
How do you know that, though?
Well, see, then when you start asking those questions, then you start thinking, you kind of start getting into stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. So does a racial slur really mean that they judge harshly in that area? Or are they just prejudiced? Like,
I don't know. That's the question. That's why I bring this up. Because a lot of people, you know, automatically assume that someone is... What? Tell me.
I've got lots of white friends.
Yeah. Is that a racist statement or is that a judgmental?
I've got a lot of black friends.
Yeah.
My most closest friends are Latino.
Yeah, that too. The greatest one is thinking
I watch anime.
Well, the greatest one is thinking that our truck, because it's a food truck, is a taco truck. Stop being a racist.
So are they? That's what I mean.
Okay,
That's a good.
this is it right here.
That's
This is
good.
it.
No, like that's good. Is that are they? So they, and I say not judging, but they are judging. Not in
By
a,
my perception
Not a
and my skin color and
Well, see, I
my
guess-
ethnicity.
Well, I think that just it's kind of a
Tell me.
it's I don't know. It's kind of crazy because it's not necessarily judgmental as it is assumption. If that makes sense. You know.
Judge not, lest ye be judged. With the same measure. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes are they being judgmental? Or are they just assuming some things? You know, like you guys.
What are they assuming? What are they assuming?
That's what
That
I'm
I'm
saying.
Mexican and that I can cook? First
of
of all, I'm Tejana. I'm not Mexican. I am from Texas and I am Mexican. So I'm a Tex-Mex, which means my food is different from that of Mexico. Okay, go ahead.
No, it just reminds me of.
Tell me.
When you say judgmental, I mean, are you being judgmental? Are you judging someone? Because I
That's
think
very
it's
judgy of you to
Well, I think it's
believe
funny
that
that
I make
people say that. Like before we make a statement, people constantly go,
Don't
"I'm not
judge
judging."
me. Yeah,
like,
I'm not judging
I'm not
you.
judging you, but or they'll say, "Don't judge me because."
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
but
Because I use ketchup on my tamales? Are you judging me?
yes, harshly. So no, but I mean, like, is it assumption? Are we assuming some things
Okay,
because
but is
of culture?
assuming and judging the same thing?
That's a good question. I mean, I think that's up for debate.
Well,
you
let's
know?
just find out what the word says.
You know, because, I mean, when you think about it, like your whole situation that you guys have with your food truck, like when you guys pull up, for you guys that don't know, they'll pull up to almost any location
And in our food truck,
in their food truck, or they'll mention
our food
their
truck,
food truck, and immediately
they say,
they say,
what kind of tacos,
"What kind of tacos do you guys sell?" Or, "Oh, man, I'm so glad you guys are here. I can't wait to get a good taco." And you're like, "Bro, is that a racial is that a racial statement?" You know, it's like it's just. So is it judgmental? Are we, on the flip side, are we judging them because they're saying that? Or are they just assuming that, and so we're judging them? Or are we assuming that they're racist because they're saying, like, there's
I don't
so many
know.
different
That's the
perceptions,
thing.
you know? So,
And I don't want to
it's-
say this because if you watch the podcast at any time, you hear us talking about this, whether it's racial or not, right?
Well, my kids say that you're racial all the time.
They actually say
You're
they say
racist.
I'm a racist, and I really want to put that on the side of my taco truck, or that's what they call it, my food truck, our food truck. I want to put on there, don't be a racist. We don't sell tacos, okay? And so I think this is what made me think that. Me. Matthew 7. Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way that you judge others, you will be judged, and with the measure you use it will be measured unto you. So I think about that, and I'm like, okay, these people are they're not racists, and they're not judging. I'm trying not to judge them as a racist because they're assuming that we make tacos.
Because of your skin tone
Correct.
and your last names.
Yes. And so I'm just like, oh, pobrecito, you don't even know. You know, that's how I feel about it. So I try not to judge because I know that I will be judged in the same manner. Okay? That's where the scripture came from. And so I think about it and I have to stop and pause to go, ay, pobrecito. And that makes me feel sorry for them, and it makes me not want to judge them harshly. Does that make sense?
No, it does.
And then, wait. And then I have a story. Because this was so good. I just couldn't leave it out. In 1 Kings 3, and you know where I'm going with this, if you're a Bible scholar, it's the king. This is the judgment of Solomon, the king, right? It recounts that two mothers living in the same house, each mother of an infant son, came to Solomon. One of the babies had been smothered, and each claimed that the remaining boy as her own. Calling for a sword, Solomon declared his judgment. The baby would be cut into two. Each woman would receive half. One mother did not contest the ruling, declaring that if she could not have the baby, neither of them could. But the other begged Solomon, give the baby to her, just don't kill him. The king declared the second woman the true mother, as a mother would even give up her baby if that was necessary to save its life, and awarded her custody. This judgment became known throughout all of Israel as was considered an example of profound wisdom. That's what I want to key right there. Not that there are racists, not that we're judging, but the profound wisdom of that. The profound wisdom of the judgment of Solomon. And I think we can look at that when things like this happen with the truck and things like, getting pulled over by the cops or going into a store and being followed by someone type thing. I know we've talked about this before and y'all get tired of it. I know. But it's because you don't have to deal with it on a daily basis. But
some of our viewers do.
Okay, some of them do. Some of them do, but some of them don't. And they don't even know what I'm talking about. However, I am not judging you harshly for that. I am saying, ay, pobrecito, you do not have to deal with that type of thing, right? But there are things that you do deal with that we have never dealt with, right? Like your family disowning you. That is not in our generation. That we don't do that. Not our generation, but our not ethnicity.
Well, I don't know. You're saying culture and ethnicity, but no, that happens. That happens there too.
Some. But you know what I mean. You say that to our daughter-in-laws all the time. Like, that must be a culture thing because we don't have to deal with that or we don't see that type of thing, right? And I know we've talked about it before that, culture plays a big part in that. But I wanted to focus on the fact that you can't just be going around judging people harshly for...
Technically, you shouldn't be judging.
Anyway, yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
But I think we're deceived if we think that we don't judge people.
We do it all the time.
I know, but I think people, to me, immediately when a person says, well, I don't judge people, I'm thinking, yeah, you do, because otherwise you would have to clarify that. So.
Walking in a room and saying, I didn't judge you, or don't judge me, or I'm not judging you, but, right?
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of assumptions, and I think, as much as I try not to judge, I know that I'm a judgy person. I know that I am.
You?
Well, when it comes to certain things, I am.
What makes the line? What makes you judge them?
I think I'm harsh on. I think I judge, and I really try not to. It's hard. I judge the government, politicians, real harsh. I judge older white men real harsh. I judge. I give them the benefit of the doubt, and I try to grow. Like this sounds so funny. Some of my great friends are old white men.
Are they? Wow.
But it's funny, but that's what I'm saying. Like I really strive not to judge in those areas. But for somebody to say that they're not judging other people for specific things, I think we judge poor people, like people that are holding the signs up, people that
is
a homeless person that walks into the store behind you, or is camped. Like we judge poor folks, we judge homeless people, we judge people that are on food stamps, we judge people that drink alcohol. We judge to the hilt. But I think our denial and judging is our downfall. I think if you own it and be like, yeah, man, I'm really working on that. I judge people in this area, because I know that I can get that way and I have to work against it. But I think for me, I try to really lean on mercy, grace, and the blood of Jesus in that area. But it's hard because of experiences, because of things that you were taught, that you were raised in culture, things that you've seen, things that you've heard, things that you've read. When you see things, it's really difficult to fight against that, not being a judgy person or not judging in certain areas or certain things or certain situations. But I think it's ignorance for us to say that we're not judgy. I think that's probably the biggest red flag from a quote unquote Christian or follower of Christ that says, well, I'm not a judgy person. Well, I think you're deceiving yourself if you say that you're not a judgy person. It's like the person says, I don't see color. Well, you just lied to yourself, because unless you're colorblind, they're the only people that don't see color. Everybody else sees shades of color. So I think in general, I think when you talk about judge not, I think you have to really mentally, on purpose, think about where you are judgy, and then allow. This gets really spiritual, right? Like you have to allow the Word of God and you have to allow the Spirit of God to convict you for the areas that you're judging. But if you build that wall up and say, well, I don't judge people, now you're lying. Because
Hiding behind your wall.
Yeah, because
of judgment.
you just you literally just judged all the people that judge. And that's not me. I don't do that, right? Like I don't judge. Yeah, you do. So I don't think it's a question of if we. I don't think it's a question. Do you judge or if you judge? I think it's a question where you judge. To me, as being as transparent as I can and being open, like I think that we judge. I think that we do, and we try to hide it and we try to put it off. But I think the truth of the matter is until we can get to that place where like, I too am guilty. That's my sin. Like I judge these people. I judge these individuals. I judge, different things because we're not supposed to. But why would Jesus even put that in the Bible? Why would Why would God put that in the Bible for all the people that are not judgy?
Yeah. Honestly, that's
Right?
beautiful.
That's why is
beautiful.
that in there if it's not? And then he's not even writing to everybody else. He's writing to the church. Just saying, like it's to the church, right? So
type thing.
I'm just saying. But I think sometimes that we literally get on our high horse and our high horse in our soapbox, thinking that we're more holier than we are.
Yeah.
And so, in order for us to downplay that, well, I don't judge people.
So then I will tell you a story.
Oh, here we go.
Story time. We were on the food truck and we were in front of the library.
I know. Oh,
no, we were.
I was thinking about the other place, but go ahead.
You can tell me that one. So we were in our food truck and we were in front of the library. And by the library, if you feed the cats, they come. So the cats were all there.
You have to watch that episode.
Yeah. The cats were all around, and there was a young man, and he was sitting over there against the wall. He had a backpack or a big duffel bag, and he was sitting there by it against the wall in the shade, right? And we're watching, because we're people watching if we don't have anybody at the window, right? That's what you do, because otherwise you'd be on your phone trying to watch a movie when you should be attending online school and getting a degree while you're doing nothing. Sorry. And as we watched him, an elderly man came out of the library. He came to the truck and he bought 2 plates. He took them back into the library, one in, and then he brought the other to his car. He saw the young man sitting on the floor, and this was an elderly man. He walks over and he puts the plate inside his car, unlocks his car, puts it in there, and I see him digging in his wallet. He brings out $2. He walks over to the young man and he gives it to him, and he hands it to him, and I see the young man talking to him, and the elderly man is like, and he walks off, he goes to his car, and he gets in his car, and elderly. He's taking his time. The door's still open, he hadn't left. The young man gets up, stands up, straightens his shirt up, walks over, and he says, hands it back to the elderly man in the car, and he says, and I don't know what was said, and then the elderly man was like, type thing. This is the body language. I can't read from that far. Obviously, I wear glasses now, so I can't read lips that far. And so I was like, oh, maybe he wasn't homeless. Wow, that guy just thought he was homeless because he was sitting there taking a break from whatever he was doing, and he just assumed he was homeless, but he probably wasn't because he gave him the money back, and he didn't need it, right? And I thought to myself, that's just my whole conversation.
Which you tend to do a lot.
Yeah. So I was just like, wow. And I was like, that was so judgmental of you, Mia, to think that he was homeless too. This elderly man thought he was homeless, but you did too. But even though you didn't give him any money, you saw the entire thing. Okay. So that to me was a moment of aha, of don't judge everybody for homeless just because they're carrying a backpack.
And waiting for the library to open.
Yeah, that. I mean, So I don't know. I just thought it was pretty funny. Okay, you tell me yours.
I thought you were going to talk about the incident where the guy was coming up. We were at that location, and he walks up with his family. And
gosh.
And we're, you're selling burritos, and so he asks for a burrito, and he just talks about, where's your family from? And you're like, from Waco. It's like, oh, they're not from Mexico. And then you're like, no. So, well, where are your grandparents from? From Waco. So, what part of your family's from Mexico? And you're like, none of my family's from Mexico. But this guy literally assumed
assumption after assumption after assumption.
And then he goes on to tell us that he'd been on missions trips out of the country and in South America and all this stuff. And it was just funny because from based off his conversation and everything, all the questions he was asking and the conversation and dialogue at that moment, I was judging pretty harshly. I was like, this guy is either completely an idiot and super ignorant, or he's super racist and he doesn't know that he is.
Yeah.
You know, but
I
to
judged
say-
him harshly.
I judged him hard.
really
We both judged him pretty
because
harsh.
I shut the window and I said, "Did your family kill all the Jews?" And I was like, but that's how he just kept on and kept on and kept on.
That's my point is that to say that we don't judge, I think it's denial.
Yeah.
I just think that we're in denial.
And it's not the river
And
in
it's
Egypt.
not the river in Egypt, right? So, like, I think that the people outside of the church are probably less judgmental than the people in the church.
That is correct. That I will agree with that statement.
You know, so I think a message to the church would be: don't say that you're not judgmental. Figure out where your judgmental is, or your issue where you judge, and work on that.
Yeah.
That would be my suggestion.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, other than cutting the baby in half and deciding who should have the right to judge, we should just say, judge not, lest ye be judged with the same measure that you gave it to them. So, and I have really been working on myself. So,
Not me. I took a break.
so my kids say I'm a racist, but I'm not. I really am not. If you know me, I'm not. But that's the thing is that, and I was thinking about this before we started talking about this, is being, what is it that y'all used to say that I just used to say blatantly or like no filter? What do you call that? Outspoken,
I don't know.
whatever word that
Can't
is,
remember.
what's on your mind, just comes out like that. Is that being judgmental that you just say what you hear in your head? I don't know. I'm just saying.
That's no filter.
Okay, but is that being judgmental?
I don't know.
Did you see what I'm saying? I mean, this could go a lot of ways,
I don't know.
y'all.
What are you saying?
What are you saying there? I mean, look at Linda,
It's time to go to commercial break.
Yes. Anyway, that's a whole nother podcast, but I just wanted to talk about this. Just think about it before you go and judging somebody, that you too are probably being judged with the same measure or more, and you don't even know it. And when you leave people, it's kind of like I tell my grandson, you're a space invader. You're in my space, because he is just like, what? Grandma? And he does that to everybody, and I'm just like, I don't, if you went to school, your friends are probably like, type thing. And so I don't know if that's the same thing as judging him for him wanting to be in your area. You know what I mean?
No, that's just aggravation.
No, he's a baby. He's not aggravated. He's a baby, so he doesn't know.
I'm talking about you being aggravated. Leave me alone.
Well, it's not even to me that he just does it to. He
No,
does
just
it to
everybody,
everybody,
yeah.
and I'm just like, oh, pobrecito.
He needs love.
Yeah, something, Anyway, all right. Anyway, we love you guys. Thanks for joining us, and try not to judge too harshly this week, because at least ye be judged. All right? But we'll see you next week on the podcast. No telling when he'll come back and when Fran will come back and join me, because that was really cool. Thanks for listening last week as well, and I'm so glad that she has a lot of wisdom too, the profound wisdom.
Yep.
The Solomon wisdom. All right. Love you guys. See
Thank you guys
next
for
week.
listening, watching. We catch you guys later.
Thank you for listening to the Riverside Weekly. Download the Riverside Waco app to stay connected and follow us on all social media sites at the Riverside Waco. This podcast is made possible by the givers of Riverside Community Church. Production and engineering provided by Capital G and RTV in Waco, Texas.